Sims Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh, he broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught.
Denver, unbelievable.
And welcome to the fourth down fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football, brought to you by BetStamp. BetStamp is the sports bookie of all sports bookies because they have all your favorite sports bookies all in one place just for you. You can check them out at signupexpert.com/fiasco. Real quick, before we dive into the show, do want to make a quick apology to our friend Moritz Heisler. I was not on the show last week, so I was unaware that nobody made a super fun intro to bring him on to the pod. So that was on me. I thought that we were doing the show on Monday and we were doing it on a Saturday. So Moritz, if you're listening, I would have had something cool for you, big dog. As always, with me are my co-hosts and contributors, Danny Weber, Tanner Vinsky. Say hello to the people for me real quick.
Hey.
And then with us, we have a very special guest. This is the UK killer, the Bedfordshire baddie, the whimsical wrestler, the DepthChartSports diva, the man who discovered American football while at university, a writer for American Football International, Chris Tebbs. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's a nice, nice, easy, quiet week for British American football. So just had a nice, relaxing time over these last 48 hours.
Yeah, absolutely nothing has been going on.
Nothing at all. Nothing we're going to cover today.
Well, to kind of start us off, Tebbs, I am just curious. I know you can only talk about so much, but the AFLE did announce that they are bringing in a London franchise, and we're going to kind of give you the spotlight to be able to talk about it a little bit. How does that affect the British American football ecosystem? Do you think that this is going to be something that lasts? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this.
I mean, for me, it's London has needed this for a while. The British American football leagues have been, fairly stagnant. Obviously, there's been some change at the top, whether it be the Manchester Titans, the Warriors, the Aztecs, all sort of battling it out over the last 5 years or so for the top spot. But when it comes to British American football, you've won the Brit Bowl. Sorry, you've won the Brit Bowl. Now what?
Sure.
Okay, you've won it again. Okay, you've won it again. Now what? Then you see all these players go and have success in the ELF. You look at Arthur Kingdom, Toby Naylor, Keanu Ebanks. These players, they can reach that success, and we've got people like Keanu coming back now to play for the leagues. But it's something that I think the UK has needed for a while, like maybe 3 or 4, 5 years ago. I think there was space to do it. Obviously, the big thing is London is very expensive, so it's something that I think has been needed. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to affect British American football this season. I think there's definitely there could be some growing pains with two. I think that there's enough talent, but obviously, you're spreading the market fairly thin. Sure. You're really going to be having to pull from the depths to be able to fill out your roster with talent, and also, you're going to have two teams battling it out in. London is fairly big, but also it's fairly small, so you're going to be competing for the same fan bases. You're going to be competing for the same players, potentially even the same coaches. I think that the big thing that is the rumored massive change is that the London Warriors, who are the flagship team in the UK, I know that the Bristol Aztecs did win the Brit Bowl last year, but it's still the London Warriors, and then it's everyone else. The rumor is that they're not going to be playing British American football next year in BAFA. This ALFE team is going to be born out of the London Warriors, whether that be in name and logo as well. We don't know, obviously. I think that there are some connotations that are attached to the London Warriors name and logo that may put off potential players. Unfortunately, that is British American football. It's a small community, and it's a very passionate community. So a lot of people don't like each other, and the London Warriors are definitely probably fallen foul of with that a few times, whether it be with the Aztecs, the Blitz, the Olympians, anything like that. But that seems to be the big one. A British American football season without the London Warriors, truthfully, like as much as they are Marmite, you either love them or you hate them. It's a big missing piece. And if you're the Bristol Aztecs or the Manchester Titans or the London Blitz, you're now down your flagship game. The London Warriors, as far as I'm concerned, again, all credit to the Bristol Aztecs. I love the Bristol Aztecs. The London Warriors are still the team to beat. They were still the team to beat, and they're potentially not going to be there. It's tricky. It's tricky. If that is the case, I mean, it's something that I've heard that the Warriors have pulled out, not just from one source or two sources or three sources. It's as far as it's almost as good as confirmed. But until either the Warriors or BAFA turn around and say it, I'm not willing to really put a stamp on it. But it's been a lot of people saying, and this isn't just at the Prem level. This is Div 1, Div 2, that something has come out and they've said that the Warriors are not playing this season and potentially could be the team. I think actually I'll let you get on to some more questions, otherwise I think I'm just going to answer everything. For me, I think that the Marvin Allen has got the reputation of being able to control a good football team and put together a good football team. He's got the contacts. The big thing for me in terms of this ALFE team is where they play. Number one, it's not cheap to be in London, and where the London Warriors played their home games was not the most audience-friendly space, to say the least. It was at the University of Greenwich. There were no seats. Mm-hmm. And this is the UK's team, for lack of a better term, and you don't have seats. You don't have a bar. It's quite hidden, which is where when you look at teams like the Manchester Titans or the Bristol Aztecs, even going like further down and look at teams like the Oxford Saints or our dearly departed Scunthorpe Alphas, that they had a bar and places to sit, which I think this is the big thing in Britball. It is a luxury that most teams should have, but the team, like even the London Blitz, had a place where an elevated space for you to watch. Didn't have a bar or anything, but it was better than University of Greenwich. I don't even think that's a difficult. I don't think that's a harsh thing to say to the Warriors. That ground was not friendly, but I think it feels like that was almost the point with the London Warriors, is that they felt sequestered away, like a mythical boss in a video game. Is that you don't really see or hear things from the Warriors. They had, they used to have this thing called like going dark, where as soon as the postseason hit, none of their players posted anything, and they did that for years, right? And it was only in the last few years that started becoming a little bit looser. I know that when, Sport Tank and I started live streaming games, is that obviously we're like, oh yeah, of course we want the Warriors, and they're like, no. It's like you have to give us something, and we're like, well, British American football isn't readily available. We want to try and boost this up and grow it.
Sure.
And they were just like, no, you have to give us something to stream our games. And it's like we're doing this for free. Like,
right.
We're not getting anything in return already.
It's like our petrol's going to be burnt to come down here and try and grow the sport. Then when they did away games at Bristol, like they're always great, because that's the matchup that people want to see, and it seems as though we're not gonna get that. I think the Aztecs and the Blitz are going to have good games, but it's just not we don't have many marquee matchups,
Sure.
right? And when it comes to it, the at least one of the names on the marquee matchup, at least for the last like 10 years, or even maybe even longer, is the London Warriors. Whether it be Tamworth Phoenix, now Coventry Phoenix, versus the London Warriors, the Blitz and the Warriors, the Olympians and the Warriors, and the Aztecs and the Warriors, and the Titans and the Warriors. Yeah, and obviously that's gone now. So it's a bit weird that the London Warriors on a Monday at 2 p.m. just went, hey,
Peace out.
this Baffin stuff, yeah, peace out, we're gone. So it's going to be interesting to see from all fronts. It's going to be interesting to see how the team does. It's going to be interesting to see, in the coming weeks, hopefully, if we get an announcement, because there is obviously space. You look at Vienna, they obviously have a team, both in the ALFE and the AFL.
Yeah,
I think there is space to do both and just have like the London Warriors, sort of act as a feeder system into this London team. But then I think with that, the quality of the Warriors themselves could suffer, which obviously then opens the door even more so to Bristol, which is great for Bristol. But I think there's also like a bit of like Bristol feel a bit shortchanged in the fact that they've won their first Brit Bowl ever in the entire history of that particular club, and they want to come out there and defend it against the Warriors and the Blitz and the Aztecs and the Titans. And they've put together, like the Aztecs have put together like a super team. They've got some great players on there, and it seems like, okay, we've put together this super team to what, like stamp on the Rushmore Knights or the Cambridgeshire Cats. Brilliant. Cool. It's a shame, but I think for the future, I think that it's better. And this is where I think is going to be slightly more of a controversial take, in that the London Warriors seem to like being at the top by any means necessary, not really let anyone in to really grow the sport itself. And from that, I think both the Bristol Aztecs and the Manchester Titans are a lot more open of clubs to, number one, see how they run, and they're a bit more, for lack of a better term, friendly to the media. They both live stream all of their home games. It's as simple as that. And I think with those two teams sort of leading the charge into the future, I think that it could end up with domestic British American football being in a better place. Sure. Which sounds harsh, and I don't think the London Warriors were this foreboding cloud over British American football holding the league back. But I think that there's something to it that there's now an open space to be the UK representative team that people know and care about and revere. And I think that there is space in the country where it can be both the Titans and the Aztecs, and even maybe space for the Blitz. I think the Blitz are an incredible team, and they're going to give the Aztecs a good go. But when it comes to I don't think anyone else in it. I think, don't get me wrong, I like the Coventry Phoenix. It'd be interesting to see what they do. But obviously East Kilbride, they probably definitely have Scotland. But yes, I'll stop talking now. Sorry.
No, you're fine. What I was going to ask you, because you touched on it for just a minute, that the Warriors just kind of up and, at 2 p.m. on a random, Monday you said, or Tuesday, whatever it was, said, hey, we're tired of this. We're done with it. And something that we've talked about on this pod that hasn't made sense, especially with the AFLE's announcement of, hey, we're bringing on a London team and we're bringing them on this year, when the ELF tried to bring on a London team. They couldn't do it. The EFA is going to, supposedly going to bring one on in 2027. And we know that there's been these barriers, especially financial barriers, but also like different tax codes and also, the rights to stadium usage and all this other stuff. Any idea how the AFLE was just magically able to make this appear out of thin air?
I mean, there's either got to be some connections in there, or there's a lot more money than we think. It's been said like in when the AFLE said that the EFA said they were going to bring in a London team that it's going to be at Leyton Orient. So like that's it's not like where are they going to play? It's the AFLE have got to figure that out, and it's not cheap.
Yeah.
What stadiums do they even have to choose from if they're wanting to stay in or around London? Like, I don't know my stadium.
So, are you guys aware of the IFAF yard?
IFAF yard.
So, the IFAF yard. So, obviously, within this country, there's a lot more soccer pitches and soccer arenas than there are American football. There's only like 2 in the country. So, the IFAF yard is a yard that is shortened to, I can't remember what. So, I think it's maybe like 0.86 of a yard, and that becomes how long a yard is on this particular pitch. To be able to make these soccer pitches long enough to play American football. So basically, it's like fake yards, right? And that's been a thing for years, right? That's what teams do in this country to be able to fit regulation size fields. And it wouldn't.
You also nailed that it is 0.86, by the way. I just found it.
Lock in. That's why they pay me the big bucks. Yes.
Wait, who pays you? Who pays you?
No one.
You don't have to. I'm sorry.
No, DCS pays me, but I don't pay myself a lot of money, or any money. There's no money. There's no money. I'm just going to say there's no money. So there is space for them to move into a stadium, but it's what stadium? Like they've obviously got a fair few to choose from, but they're going to have to be of a higher level of quality, because at the end of the day, like we've seen it in the ELF last year. Some teams play in lovely places, some teams do not. And if you're, presenting a London team for the first time since the Monarchs, you're going to want to be able to make it look as good as possible. So you can't just put it in somewhere small. You can't put it in somewhere that looks bad. And this it is going to be expensive. Like the one thing that I will say is that Marvin Allen's not a silly man by any stretch of the imagination. If he signed on, then I think that there's some credibility to be given to that. He's not just going to sign on for it to be. He's not signing on for it to be a failure. So it wouldn't surprise me anyway that if it has all been worked out, I don't think we're dealing with a situation where the ALFE are flying by the seat of their pants. They're just sort of drip feeding it. Maybe stuff isn't fully locked down, but that would be me just guessing. Like if it's a London team and you're gonna slow burn for however many months they've got left, again, it wouldn't even surprise me if there's one team that would be able to sort of build a team in secret in this country. It's probably the London Warriors.
That's wild.
I've not heard anything. I know some of the other guys in the space not heard anything. Like when we heard some news coming over the last week, like London is going to be London. It's not Monaco. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is a team in there. There is a like a baseline team in place and a baseline stadium in place. It doesn't strike me as they're going to be able to struggle. Obviously, like the big thing is like with the money, it's quite expensive to travel. I mean, we've seen it even with like stuff like the IAL. It's like it's expensive to travel with a full American football team. And that's
for y'all because y'all aren't connected through the railroad system.
But this is it. Is are they gonna want to take the train? They're going to want to put their players on the train. Like and also it depends, where in London they are, where's their nearest airport. Like they'll be able to get places, of course, but it's the big thing with London is simply the money. It's an expensive place to be. I mean, like £8-9 a pint, unbelievable.
It's wild to me that out of the whole UK football sphere of media, no one knew anything at all. It's like this was either the best kept secret in the world through the AFLE, and props to them for, I guess, pulling it off, or this was, no one will ever admit it, I'm probably just speaking ignorance, but it was just thrown together. It's like, hey, they reached out to the GM, they said, let's do it, and he said, sure.
Drug-induced bender, just everybody was trash and said, we can do this.
Yeah.
This is it, though. It's like this is a very London Warriors thing to do, is to be able to keep everything very, very quiet, and be able to put that shroud upon it and then just go, yeah, this is what's happening, deal with it.
Yeah. You mentioned that like the Vikings have the AFLE and the AFL team, and the Warriors could do something similar. Would the rest of BAFA not be worried of like players purposely choosing the Warriors as a chance to get up to their AFLE?
There's nothing to stop them. It's when it comes to BAFA like this, there's nothing to stop players to going from the Warriors or the Blitz anyway. Like there are teams that have got better chances and reputations through their coaching staff of being able to get players into Europe or over to the States, and no one's going to stop anyone from going to another team because the coaching staff is better connected, or the coaching staff is simply better, and someone wants to learn under a different coach or a more established coach. There's nothing to stop them now. I mean, you say is there anything to stop them? Look at the Aztecs. You look at the Aztecs O-line. Like it's one of the best O-lines ever assembled in Europe, let alone in British American football. And like no one went, oh my god, you can't do that. Obviously, people are looking at it going, well, that's a bit much, isn't it? And it's like, no, it's like you can do it. You can realistically do what you want as long as you're legally able to play. You can play wherever you want.
The Aztecs O-line right now for the people that do not know, like us three.
Gosh, let me check to see if it's been publicly released yet, or how many of them have been publicly released yet, because I'm unsure how many of them have been, and I don't want to feel the wrath of the Aztecs. So Lewis Thomas of the Paris Musketeers, very good, obviously. Keanu Ebanks, Frankfurt Galaxy, and also the Hull Sharks. Got to get that one in. He's there as well. Gosh, I'm not sure if they've announced any more, and I don't want to.
I mean, that's already a solid punch. Those are both guys who have won awards in the ELF for their play at line. So,
and yes. Tanner, I know you hopped out for a minute, but any initial thoughts on the London team in your head?
Not great. I mean, the whole thing with the AFLE, and I'm trying not to be fully negative, just because they're getting to the point that. Well, they're getting close to the point that I never thought they would reach, which is actually playing a game, which is great. And my thought process has always been, if the AFLE somehow manages to fuck around and play a professional sports game on a professional sports stage after being conceived of like 6 months ago, I mean, that's an accomplishment. That's an achievement within itself, right?
Yeah.
So, shout out to them for getting it to pull it off. But the issue with the AFLE is, I mean, they only had 4 teams. I think they really thought that they were going to get more of the EFA teams. That didn't go down the way that they thought it was. I think they thought maybe there was some way they could get some other already established teams. That didn't really go down the way they did. I know for a little while there was rumors about them getting the Prague Black Panthers, and they would have them compete specifically with the Prague Lions. Whether there was truth to that or not, who knows? but it seems very similar to what's happening here, where it's like, okay, well, they try to take a team from a minor league in, in relation to EFA, ELF, whatever, right? Maybe that's what's going on here with the Warriors, if that's actually what's happening. So instead of that happening in Prague, they were able to make it happen in London. But the issue the AFLE is running into is, they only had the 4 franchises, so they just have to spawn teams out of nowhere in order to get a schedule. They could have played with 4 teams. They could have done that route, but I'm sure that wouldn't have made them seem like a competitor to the EFA. And I think a lot of what the AFLE is trying to do is they're like, we are the competitor to the EFA. We are the better product. We are the better league. You want to support us. You don't want to support the EFA. And if you go out there with 4 teams, that becomes a harder sell. But now they're at a point where they got more teams than the EFA. Look at us. We got 8 teams. And look at all these markets we got. The EFA, as good as the teams that are already established there are, they don't share as much as the market pool as the AFLE does. The AFLE's got a team in Italy. They got a team in London. They got a team in Paris.
Alpine Rams, don't forget them.
Yeah, they got Switzerland.
Alpines.
Yeah, they got Switzerland. They're crazy, But the thing is that those are 3 markets that the EFA doesn't have. They don't have London yet. They don't have Italy yet, and they don't have Switzerland. So the fact that they can sit there and be like, we got these 3 markets that the EFA doesn't have. These 3 countries need to jump on with us. And the only thing that they're really missing is that they don't have Scandinavia and they don't have Spain. And that's why when they made that whole statement out, they're like, oh, well, the teams that we want the Spanish team, we want the Scandinavian team, and then we want like the big dog teams that are there. We want a team in South Germany, and from there, we're good. Everybody else, go screw yourselves. We don't need you.
Well, they want South Germany, but not Munich.
Well, they want South Germany because, again, I don't want to read too much into the situation, but that whole thing feels like Munich decided at the last minute to jump to the EFA. Yeah, you guys don't get to join us now because you made the wrong decision. We're going to take Frankfurt instead. Yeah. When if you really look at it as like a scope of Europe, maybe I'm ignorant for saying this, but I would rather have Munich than Frankfurt. At least right now, this iteration of Munich, to me, feels more stable and more of a championship contender than Frankfurt does, right? So, I don't know. Nothing's really going to move the needle for me with the AFLE until the AFLE actually gets to playing and we can actually see the product they put together. Because right now, all I'm seeing in my head is that we're going to see 35-7, 35-7, 35-7 when Rhine and Vienna go to play this randomly new formed London team, this randomly new formed Florence team, this randomly new formed Paris team, this randomly new formed Switzerland team. It's like, why would Vienna not crush all those teams, right? Like, we don't know. Like, these are brand new teams that, we haven't seen a lot of their roster construction yet. And a lot of the people that they have signed are now not playing for them. They're playing somewhere else, which is also not a good sign. It's also not great to see.
I think the only real team that is signed, like any of the 4 new teams, that this has been stuck in my head since last week, that it is not an expansion team, but they are developed cities, or however more it's phrased it. These aren't expansion teams. They're teams that were already have a foundation, which that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, these are new teams. No, there was no backing to these teams.
What foundation has the Paris Lights had?
Yeah, and that's what I can't wrap my head around. Like, yeah, there's a team in Paris. They understand Paris logistics. Cool. That doesn't mean that you can just copy and paste that to another team. But it's like, if you're popping teams out of nowhere, why not bring back the last ELF champion as the Stuttgart Surge? Just like you won another team in Germany, fund their team.
Hey, guess where Stuttgart is, right? Stuttgart, south of Germany, right?
It's like that, it makes too much sense to leave Stuttgart out of this. They had such a diehard fan base. They just won a championship. It's like
they have elite level branding. Their jerseys are beautiful.
What?
I said elite level branding. Their jerseys are beautiful.
Yeah, and it's like, and then you just let their head coach go be their assistant head coach / OC in Vienna. It's like that. Great for them. Like, that's a dynamic duo right there. But it's like, you do that, and then you give Vienna more homegrown territory.
Well, do they need the players in Serbia? I mean, when you think of Serbia, you think of Austria, right? You think of Vienna, right? That's what I think of when I think of Serbia.
Chris would agree, right? Serbia and Austria go hand in hand.
Look,
I mean, hey, back in the 1800s, they did when the Austro-Hungarian Empire was around. But
I was about to say, look, I know I'm from America, but I know geography doesn't work like that. Okay.
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens to the AFLE. Like, I mean, we've said it multiple times. It feels like it's Vienna is taking a bunch of startups, and they're like, "Man, Vienna's going to be awesome." Like, this is like the Vienna's Vikings wet dream. You know, they just get to go out there and they just get to blow out everybody, and they have no competition. And a lot of the players are going to Vienna and all this. Like, it just feels so Vienna centric, which, you know, hey, good for Vienna fans. You guys are going to be eating good. You might get bored of the blowouts, though. I don't know.
Well, hey, they'll finally be able to win a championship, though.
Well, they have one.
They did win an ELF one, but they've lost 2 straight since. But,
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm thinking about the two straight that they lost.
yeah, but
They'll be back to 500.
true. But I forget where I heard the rumor from first of the conspiracy theory, and I think it came from our interview of they're not going to let teams score more than 35 or win by more than 35. Which
well, because I mean, if you're paying attention to the interviews that went through he's very much a lot of what has been said around on the AFLE side is you're never going to see 35-0. That's never going to happen this league. You're never going to see 70-0. You're never going to see these blowouts. Now, Berlin isn't within 4 touchdowns of the current Vienna roster, so it wouldn't shock me if we see going into this year, we see Vienna up 28-0, and all of a sudden, oh, that's a 2-yard rush on first down. Well, that's a 2-yard rush on second down. Oh, that's a 2-yard rush on third down. Oh, that's a punt in go for it territory. That's interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, why did they put their homegrown quarterback in? Where's Ben Holmes?
Yeah, that's strange.
It looks like Chris is wanting to say something. What's your thought on the whole this AFLE as a whole, man?
The LFE as a whole, I just want to get it out there that I was the commentator for the highest win margin ELF game of Munich versus Barcelona, and I just want to put
a fire game.
I just want to put a story. I just want to put a story out there that was after the game, like the producers in the truck, they were like, "Well, we really wanted it to go to 3 digits because we're not entirely sure if the score bug at the bottom is going to be able to handle 3 digits." And like that game was such a weird one to do because like it was, oh, this game's really interesting, and then in the middle, oh, and then they got towards 100, and it's like, oh, that was a great one. For me, at the end of the day, like sitting and watching the ELF crumble, especially like when you go out for the finals and it was such like a great experience. It was so weird though that like we were out there and like the awards where it's like this big celebration of this actually good thing in European football, and you talk to people and they're like, well, I don't think this will last, or or like, have you been paid? No, I haven't been paid. Have you been paid? No, I haven't been paid. And like that conversation, like I had that so many times over the course of that weekend from players and coaches and stuff. It was just so strange that I wouldn't bring it up, they'd bring it up, and it's like this is nuts. And I just want some football to be played in Europe. I know that's like a simple like cop out answer, but it's over the past 2 years of commentating it is I love British American football. I love British University American football, more than anything. But the 2 years of covering the ELF, I genuinely have like fallen in love with some of these teams and some of the stories of these players. And for that brief period of time where there was like, this isn't going to happen, it's just heartbreaking. Like, I think there's more football. Obviously, I think everyone, probably including both the head offices of both the EFA and the ALFE, are like, wouldn't it be better if we were just together? And that's going to be the story of basically the whole season. It's going to be, gosh, that Frankfurt team's really good. Gosh, I wonder how they would fare against Rhine right now. Mm-hmm. Or let's say this London team's absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't it be great if we had them versus the Paris Lights or them versus the Berlin Thunder? You know, like it's those sort of questions that I think are going to plague the entire season. And you know, all we can hope for is that, you know, that something happens over the next year where things become a bit more copacetic, even if it's a case of they both have their championship games and they just go, let's do something truly good and let's put our champion against your champion, and you know, let's run it like that, you know. But having them separate, I think, can only damage it personally.
And especially I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. It's just so frustrating because we keep, like, every time anybody's brought that up, it's like, well, what if you guys do your whole playoff structure? The other league does their whole playoff structure. And then we meet for like a Super Bowl type situation. It's like, well, we're completely separate entities, but we at least have a championship game together.
Yeah.
I don't think any fan would ever complain about that. I think everybody would be like, this is great. I mean, yeah, I'd love to see Vienna and, you know, Nordic play during the regular season, but hey, you know, there's always a chance we see it in the postseason. But the thing is every time that gets brought up, it's always shut down. It's like, oh, that's not going to happen. We're not going to do anything like that.
It's wild
because it just seems petty. It seems like there's no reason not to do it. It seems like that's the easiest way. You have full creative control over both of your guys' leagues. You do whatever the hell you want. You have everything like that. But at the end of the season, it goes AFC, NFC. You got the AFLE and the EFA, and you play each other in one more game. And there's your champion of Europe, and you guys share the same trophy, and it's awesome. It makes both of your leagues just as prestigious as the other because you're always playing for the same chip. But they're too stubborn to make it happen, and it's frustrating for everybody involved.
What's your saying, Jordan?
I was going to say, I also think part of the reason why they don't do that is the liability of it. Because if you have, let's say, for 3 years straight, it's the EFA versus the AFLE in a championship game. And just for the sake of the example, it's the Nordic Storm wins all three. And they absolutely obliterate, you know, whoever it is coming out of the AFLE. We'll say Rhine for this example. They obliterate Rhine 3 years straight. They're not close games. That's going to really damage the integrity of whichever league is getting, you know, belt to their ass.
But there's always the opportunity. There's always the opportunity that we get a Super Bowl III on our hands where the Jets go in there and they're fucking 28. It's the biggest underdog story of like any Super Bowl. I think they were like 28 or 30 point underdogs against the Baltimore Colts. And they go in there and they win. The last time the Jets were relevant, you know, back in the 70s. But actually late 60s or early 70s. Yeah,
I was gonna say it was 69, brethren.
Oh, oops, my fault. I give them a little bit of credit. So regardless, the only time they're relevant, but it's still a huge, massive sports story. And like, imagine that happens where you have the AFLE go into the EFA and the Nordic Storm are like a 21-point favorite over the Vienna Vikings, and Vienna goes out there and they just make it happen, right? Like there's always the possibility of that. So you got to outweigh it. It's like, do we want the possibility of there's just one league that's vastly superior than the other and they keep blowing the other one out? Or do we run the possibility of it makes both leagues look just as good as each other every season? Because imagine if it goes back and forth and back and forth. It's like 1 year the EFA wins, next year the AFLE wins, so next year the EFA wins. Then the AFLE wins 2 years in a row, but then the EFA wins 2 years in a row. And it's like, holy shit, like these leagues are just competitive as each other, and we can ignore that the Paris Lights are getting blown out by 28 points every game. But we can look at, you know, how great like the top end of the AFLE is, and nobody's going to care that the Paris Lights are getting destroyed, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
I don't have a marketing degree, but marketing an AFLE versus EFA championship game probably would go insane.
Oh, smack! No, I mean, I am with you. I am a ball purist. I love ball in its purest form. Yes, yeah, I see you looking at me sideways. That is exactly what she said. I love ball in its purest form, no matter how it comes about. But these are businessmen that we're dealing with, and very petty businessmen at that. And based on the things that we have heard coming from the AFLE, I'm not a psychologist, but I would say that there are some insecurities there. There are some whataboutisms that they've got, especially with this whole, oh, look at us now, we have 8 teams versus our competitor only has 7, and it's the constant dick measuring contest that I think will keep us from that.
Well, we've seen it every time. One league will announce something, the other league will follow it up the next day. So while we're talking about it, guess who just released not a schedule but dates? And they are just repeating bullshit information every single day.
Hey, phenomenal segue though, Danny. I do appreciate that. Was a phenomenal segue. Yes, pat yourself on the back for that.
But let's get into it real quick. Season will start May 23rd on a Saturday and go all the way until the championship game of September 6th.
Does it say championship on that, Danny?
What?
Does it say championship on the graphic?
No, sorry. My correction. It is a gray square that just says 6th of September after the semifinals.
Redacted.
Who knows? Maybe that's a combined championship game.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
The schedule doesn't work out. But they posted this nice little fast facts. So we're going to dissect that again because we love doing that here. But 51 games will be played, which good job. 50 regular season one or 50 up until the championship.
Okay.
Yeah. 51 games, 16 weeks, 8 teams, 1 goal to get to that gray bar. But this threw me off a little bit because the EFA already said that they're just doing a straight up round robin, playing everyone twice. AFLE, 2 conferences, 4 teams each. So they are splitting their league. 12 regular season games, goes in line with everything else. Every opponent will be played at least once. 2 bye weeks to ensure the welfare of players. The number 1 seed hosts the semifinals, single elimination, Half the league makes the championship, so I'm assuming the top 2 in each conference. Within the conference, you'll have 3 opponents, home and away, 6 games, and then you'll play interconference every opponent at least once, but then it says 6 games total. So that means you're playing 2 teams twice? If there's 4 teams in the other conference, 6 games, 2 teams twice.
Graphic. Actually, I haven't looked at the graphic.
Up to 4 games a week. And I just want to say, if you paid attention to any of our social media last year, I said all eyes on Europe all season long, right?
Oh, God.
Saturday and Sunday, period. All season long, period. The exact way I did it. I'm not saying it's on purpose. I'm a little salty that they just stole the second half of our motto. But whatever.
Look, what's so frustrating about the fast facts on this is this could have easily just been done with ChatGPT in like 30 seconds. You get absolutely nothing out of this. There is no, these 2 teams are facing each other. This is the away team. This is the home team. Hey, these 2 teams this week are facing each other. These 2 teams have a bye week this week. Like, you're not getting any information from it that we didn't. Again, it frustrates me to no end when they do these announcements because they act like it's an announcement, but it's like, this is information we already knew. We already knew when they were eyeing like what their championship weekend was going to be. And so, yeah, the May 23rd start time makes a lot of sense because if you backtrack and you know a little bit of math, it lines up that way. And I don't know. With the, up to 4 games a week. Well, yeah, no shit. You have 8 teams in your league. You can only have up to 4 games a week.
And Chris, I don't know if this was in the chat word, but the general bye week in Europe football really pisses me off. And I don't know if it's just an American in me. You have enough weeks to give everyone a separate bye. Don't take the whole season or the whole team on a bye week.
I'd say you would hate covering British University American football because they have basically Christmas off, middle of December to middle of January, where I have to sit around and think about how I can still make content and get followers and things like that while there's no football on.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times can I be like, well, I've done my first half of the season recap, and it's like, no, it's done now. I can't repeat that.
Yeah.
I mean, for Britball, it's the same. They have like GB weekend where everyone who would go and play on the GB squad goes and does things. So like, it does happen, but I think it sort of opens the door for if the EFA know when your general bye week is, well, let's just put a load of games that we really like on that weekend and get all of your audience over to us.
We better be getting like Frankfurt Nordic or Frankfurt Paris or Frankfurt.
It's a lot of Frankfurt.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Frankfurt's going to be good this year. They haven't said anything, so I don't know. Nordic Paris. There you go.
Honestly, Nordic Paris going to be a hell of a game when it does roll around.
Prague Tyrol, your suspected like 2 worst teams. Which I don't think. I mean, if your worst team is 6-6 last year, that is fine by me.
All right, yeah.
But the very last slide I just stumbled upon, after like their follow us and everything, it just says September 6th. What is like? We know it's the championship game. Why are you making it such a big deal? Like, what is the secret?
No, what's really going to piss me off is whatever they're like. It's actually our Pro Bowl weekend. The weekend after that's the championship weekend.
No, well, it will actually be like championship weekend sponsored by Red Bull.
Hey, look, if AFLE could lock in a Red Bull sponsorship, you might have me captivated.
Honestly, that's probably what it is. They probably got some sort of big sponsor, and that's why they're not saying what the game is, because it's not going to be the championship game. It's going to be the whatever laundry brand that sponsored them is going to be. It's going to be the Tide championship game or whatever.
Tide Bowl.
Yeah, the Tide Bowl.
Ooh, Pop-Tart. They're just going to steal it from college. The Pop-Tart Bowl.
Hey, that one goes hard. So
hey, that one does go hard.
Better than the Hammer Bowl.
Does the European mind comprehend the Pop-Tart Bowl happening in Stuttgart? Like, no, I promise you, we don't.
If all the people in that stadium saw two mascots fall into a toaster, their mind would explode.
That's just a normal Saturday in the States. Yeehaw. Oh man. Yeah, no, just I'm tired of the announcements that don't tell us anything, and that's been my big gripe for the past probably month and a half. And I have mentioned it as well with some of the EFA, because the EFA does also do this kind of stuff too, where they'll put together this cryptic Instagram post of like, look at these new things we're announcing. It's like, bitch, we already knew this. Like, And yeah, them redacting the word championship weekend. Like, bro, this isn't the Epstein files. Like, this is just say championship weekend. Diddy hasn't touched these schedules. Okay, we're going to be fine. Just say what it is. Like, if you have a sponsorship with it, you can always revise it later and be like, hey, it's the Pop-Tart championship game weekend, whatever. Like, it's
with the AFLE announcing their weekends now, and they announced their official lineup, and they have their website that's looking good and beautiful and up and running. Mm-hmm. Is the EFA falling behind publicly? Maybe not behind closed door, but publicly.
I think that we have to make the distinction between the two, because as a marketing person, sure, you could probably argue that. They are losing the digital communication battle right now. But in terms of signing people and having fully established, like, we know the 7 teams that are going to play for the EFA. We know that they are operational teams that are going to play for the EFA. If Tebbs wants to shine any light on the London team in 2027, that maybe they want to come in 2026, I can give you the floor for that, but I don't think that's going to happen. We know what we're going to get with the EFA, which the AFLE, again, there is this showboating around of, look, we have 8 teams now. Until I start to see jerseys from the Paris Lights, until I start to see what the stadium looks like for this new London team, until I see the Florence head coach come out and do a presser, in my mind, those teams don't exist, The
issue I think the AFLE has is, they got 2 months before their season starts. They got 2.5 months. Like, how the hell do we not know anything yet?
81 days. to be exact.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, maybe they'll figure it out, but I mean, it definitely feels like they're crunching, right? Like they got an end of year report due, and it's half their grade, and holy shit, they keep procrastinating,
Yeah,
and they're just crunching.
They're copying off of in class the whole time and said,
yeah.
No, thank you.
So, because I mean, dude, any league 81 days out from start, we should know the schedule.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, we don't know the schedule that's being played yet. Yeah, we know what the dates are for the weekends, but why do I not know who's playing week 1?
Yeah.
We don't even know where.
Yeah,
like everyone has asked where the championship game is going to be played.
Which again
they won't even say it.
Which is crazy. Why would you not want that to be publicly known? I mean, we know because we're got that information, but we can't go sharing it around because they don't want to share it around. But it doesn't make any sense why it doesn't want to be shared around. Like, build hype. Tell people, hey, it's being played in this city. You should go book your tickets now.
Yeah.
The NFL has, every other sports league in the world has insiders for a reason, to share knowledge and to build hype. But for whatever reason, the ELF hated it, EFA don't like it, and the AFLE don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we break news? Why do
Let me do watch bombs, all right? Let me have watch bombs, okay? That's what everybody wants. They want me to fucking post, this guy got signed for this amount of money. It's on Twitter or on Instagram, whatever, and everyone's like, oh, shit, this dude just got signed for this amount of money. But no, it's like,
I just want to be the European Shams Charania. That's all I want in life, Shams for life, brother.
Chris, your thought on the EFA publicly falling behind?
I think there's definitely an argument to be made for it. I've spoken to some, other people within the space, and they like the ALFE a bit more because at the end of the day, they feel like there's a bit more meat on the bones, and that's it. Like, I do agree in the sense that the EFA it's not stagnant non-publicly, like it is moving in terms of operations, but the ALFE are just better at announcing things. Don't get me wrong, I do. As much as I do appreciate there's a professional team coming to London, I don't understand why the ALFE decided to go with not just once to go with there's a Paris American football team coming. What's it called? We'll find out soon.
I think it's negative reactions.
And and it's like, I don't understand. Obviously, I'm sure it's a case of, if you announce the team and you said you don't give them a name, you get one set of likes, and then when you finally post a name and you've built that anticipation that is not really built out of hype, it's built out of just give me the name, just give me the name, hurry up and give me the name so I can actually see if the brand identity would connect with me, or you've just sort of pulled something out of your backside. I get it, but I just don't understand why they did it 3 times.
Yeah,
three individual times, and each time the reception was just give us for me, it's because the speculation then becomes: do they not have a name? Do they not have a brand? What don't they have with this team if they're not willing to go past just there's an American football team coming to this location? And, realistically, they could have done without that speculation that the audience are going to think makes them look like they are flying by the seat of their pants, which, given the amount of money involved and the people involved, I'd love to believe that they're not flying by the seat of their pants. But it certainly gives off that impression.
Sure.
But yes, but to answer the question, I do. Obviously, I think when the EFA, starts to get the ball rolling, I think that they're going to be able to be more. And I'm surprised. This is probably the first time I've said this word, transparent.
Woo!
Big word there.
I know. I think they're going to be a bit less cagey with information, but that's simply a guess. Like, I'm not employed by either side yet, people. Is it strange?
We've been asking the same thing here.
But people just come on the show and be like, "Hey, both sides, would you like a media personality who's done commentary for the ELF for 2 years?" Well, I'm just saying, I'm right here.
And destroyed Tua Tagovailoa's brother. That's
God,
fine.
I mean, I tell you what. Again, awards night. That story, terrible. Coach Halber of Hamburg decided to call Taulia Tagovailoa whilst we were there, and proceeded to put his phone in my face and I had to apologize to him, and that went to his voicemail. So that was highlight of the night for me. But yeah, I think the EFA is currently losing the battle. I do have faith that they're not just going to stand by and let it go. But I think when the champagne cork pops for the EFA and they've got all their ducks in a row, like I imagine they're probably looking at the response to the ALFE's schedule post.
Oh yeah, they're already ready to do the same shit.
And I know people from both sides listen, because whenever we drop an episode, I wake up to a couple texts. And don't retaliate tomorrow by dropping your weekend schedule. Just honestly, at this point, hold everything until you have everything and just drop it. Drop the schedule, championship game location, rosters, just drop everything at one time. You will get such a better community engagement by doing that. Don't just drip feed. And because Moritz said in whatever interview he did, he was their goal is to win back the fans. And at this point, both leagues are, I feel like, losing both, losing the fans.
Oh yeah.
You're both being petty. The fans, we had something good last year. Yeah, management sucked, but the product was fine. It was somewhat competitive football in the top half of the game. Yeah. Now you're doing this.
Their inability to, and this is from both leagues, their inability to come to a proper conclusion and to be able to make things work has stolen a lot of joy from the fans. Because Danny, to your point exactly, last year was probably the most competitive, aside from the bottom three teams, was the most competitive that we had seen the ELF. And based on what other folks had told us who had watched the ELF for more years than we had, was probably the most competitive year ever, period. And it was a very simple game plan. All you had to do was scrap the three teams that absolutely sucked, that were at the bottom, that were 0-, Tebbs, you know what I'm talking about. The guys that were 0-10 or 12 or whatever it was, that was, a crime against humanity. You toss in one additional, bolt-on franchise that you can bring on to the league, and you change the branding, you agree on, calling it whatever, and then you just march forward. You had such an easy plug and play, and for no pun intended, but they fumbled.
And the EFA tried to do that with their reintroduction of ELF. They tried to buy out the debt. They tried to get rid of Zelko. They wanted to keep the ELF brand alive because championship game number 6 sounds a lot better than going back to number 1.
Sure.
And it's you had everything in place. You had the sponsors. You had the media. You had everything. And both teams, I don't know how this many smart minds came up with this solution.
Well, I can tell you how they didn't agree upon each other.
It's
right
just
here.
difference of opinions. It is what it is. Money talks, but it's for fans and for people that are interested in the league. I've fallen in love with the league. I've convinced them to at least start to. I know Tebbs is. It's we just want good football without the drama and the controversy. And every time I bring that up, people are like, well, that's Europe for you. It's but why does it have to be? It doesn't have to.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good, Tebbs. What were you going to say?
I mean, even British American football, which, there's no money in it. People pay to play. That's completely amateur. There's no people being paid. It's, again, a very small community, like a niche of a niche to play. And it's a highly contentious and fractured space with rivalries and hatred going back, not even decades, even further back. I don't know if it is a a European thing that it has, but at the end of the day, like it seems like such a simple thing, isn't it? That just want football.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like I'm all for franchises hating each other. I am all for shit talking. I am all for rivalries. I am all for like let's have some passion in the sport. But at the end of the day, you can't let that muddy the bigger picture, which is simply let's play some damn football. But
you need the fans to make money. If no one comes to your games, you're not going to have a league.
Yeah. I will say this is the point in the conversation that Danny, Tanner, and I for the past several weeks tend to hit, and then we just kind of start talking in a circle. So, Tebbs, I will open the floor for you for any final comments before we wrap up the show. Anything you want to add? Anything maybe we missed?
I think that London as a place for football is going to surprise people if it's done correctly. I think there is enough players, both offensively and defensively, that are going to cause some problems. So, whether it's the AFLE, whether it's the EFA, whether we get a combination of both, I'm just saying this now. England up, champion. We're winning all the championships. We are going to have everyone in the league hate our guts. And I tell you what, I'm going to love to be right at the front, making sure that, everyone in, at least a 2 or 3 mile radius of where I'm speaking will hear me say, and your AFLE/EFA champions are the London something or others. That's what I'm very, very passionate that I think it can do well if it's done well, which I know is silly to say, but it's a very difficult space. I'm sure most people are sick of me saying this if they're inside. I'm just very excited. Simple as.
No, I like it. And talk your shit too. I'm all about it. So
talk your shit as long as we get access to the inside of the London team. Whenever
that's fine. Early Thunder sucks. Who else in the LFE? Ryan sucks. All of them suck. Go London. That's it.
London.
In fact, everyone in the EFA, all your teams, putting you on notice.
Love it.
27.
Nothing to do with it. On notice, all of you. Apart from maybe Frankfurt. I like Frankfurt. They can stay.
North. Go North.
I love it. Well, cool. Thank you so much, Tebbs, for joining us today. It's been a great time. Where can people follow you on social media?
So we are at DepthChartSports, and we try to bring you the best of British American football, trying to make it fun. We do have a bi-weekly show called the Uni Ball Show, covering British University American football, which I do think, if people haven't sort of delved into, it's as far as I'm concerned, I'm a big NFL fan, love the Dolphins and all that sort of stuff. I really struggled this year to watch any NFL because I was just too locked in on Uniball. It's my 5th year covering it, and we've just entered the playoffs, and there are some great stories going on. I mean, as of right now, we've got the dynasty of the University of the West of England Bullets. They've won 4 in a row, and the record is 4. So they're trying to break it. I think it's Hertfordshire who is also tied with them at 4, and they're likely to face the Durham Saints, who beat them 29-3. And if you know the Buey Bullets, that's a big score to beat the Bullets by. And it's the first season in 5 years where the Buey Bullets are not the top dogs, and that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, even in Division 1, whether it be from the south, Bournemouth University Bobcats starting with a -7 point deduction coming into the league, and then going undefeated. They're the 6th seed in the playoffs. They just beat Bristol. They've got to go to face the KCL Regents on Sunday. Just from up and down, from the National Prem to the Prem to Division 1 to Division 2, there are great stories, and I love all of it. And it's going to be on DepthChartSports. Hopefully, if people watch this and you are interested, we have got a Division 2 game. So if you're in the mood for some, really high flying, technically sound football, do not watch. But if you're in the mood for some absolute, I'm sorry, but it's true.
No, I love it. It's honest.
If you're in the mood for some some ground passionate football from people who just love it. I mean, when it comes to uni ball, who are you playing in front of? You're playing in front of maybe 10 people. You're doing it for the love of the game, and hopefully we will be at QMBL live streaming their game against my former team, the Gloucestershire Gladiators, who just snuck into the playoffs. So, yeah, that's what we've got going on.
I'll say one thing about DepthChartSports. I tuned into one episode, and we won't dive into it very much because we'll wrap this episode up. You were in a bathtub at one point? That's all I saw.
Yeah. So for some reason when we hit certain milestones, we were like, okay, we did a giveaway for 2,500, and then for some reason the sort of reward, for lack of a better term, for reaching 5,000 followers was, for some reason, it was they wanted to see me do a stream from a hot tub. I couldn't source a hot tub in time. Jamie, who also works with us at DepthChartSports, turned around and said he's going to do it tomorrow. So I had to set up the camera equipment all in the bath, and it was a complete health and safety hazard. I'm happy I got out of there alive. But yes, unfortunately, it just seemed as though that anyone who, was important and, knew me personally decided, we're going to tune in at this moment when he's in the bath talking about British University American football. Don't ask me why. I'm a big fat man who talks about football, and for some reason they wanted to see me in a bath. They got their wish.
Sounds like a great time. I'd pay for that. All right.
You should do it. It's really freeing.
Nobody wants to see that on our live stream. But thank you, Tebbs. We appreciate your time. You can also follow us on social media at Fourth Down Fiasco on TikTok and Instagram, as well as _pod on Twitter. Again, this has been Danny, Tanner, Jordan, and Tebbs saying so long, and 3 out of 4 of us will see you next week.
Peace.
Nice. I'm getting another work call just in case.